Okay, so you can see on March 19th shows just drew the line across for the starting of when it went into this line, March 19th. And in December 2nd of this year, it moves into the next line, the following line. So the only thing that changes one line of the hexagram. But this was a really significant change. So when you get into the symbols of it, this is dealing with 1 minute and 40 seconds of a degree. A difference moves from 1 minute and 40 seconds, and it moves 1 minute and 40 seconds at the next degree over like 8 months. So we're gonna come back and look at that. And all of you have the basic reports anyways. Those of you in the webinar, and those of you who aren't in the webinar, if you want to get these, I haven't done it yet, but I just mark it down now. Updates, store in my website store, iastrostore.com, www.iastrostore.com. I'll have an option there where you can order it and you can purchase all of these reports, so you can have this detailed report on the degrees and minutes and hexagrams and subpentens. Okay, so here we are with our star chart, and you can see let's just make this a bit bigger. Make this a bit bigger so it's easier to see. Okay, so, okay. Now, Uranus starts, it goes back, it will make a 145. I have a very little aspect to this, to my Mars. Then it conjuncts this first magnitude star. Then it moves back, touches a few other stars, and it will come back, make a 30 degree aspect to the moon, 144 to Mercury, and a 135 to sesquiquadrate to Jupiter. So those are all within the same bound, and then it moves backwards, forwards, and if I live long enough, it might change this 1 degree. But so when it first, when I was a young kid, it was touching the Mars, even though it's a mild aspect. I was selling magazines on weekends. Like I was a little kid, 7, 8 years old, and I'm selling magazines door to door on weekends. I was making money. I was individual enterprises. That's the Uranus Neptune. I was doing some independent to make some money and to do something. I sold thousands and thousands of magazine subscriptions. So then, yeah, at the time, but the person who was setting me up was getting 80% of my benefits. I was working for peanuts, but anyways, I still was something for me. 1971 October, I'd come back from India. I got married, and oh no, I wasn't married then. It was just before I moved out of Toronto to a farm in Orangeville, and I sold yarrow stalks and tea. And on that farm, I had my first telescope, and I was working on drawing the charts and making up charts so I could see them and watch the stars. So it was a breakthrough time, but that's probably around the time it's going past this first magnitude star. Okay. In this whole period of these pile up of planets to the moon, Mercury, and so 135 to Jupiter, first I had built up a library that I ran for 30 years, and then I couldn't run anymore, and it was running out of space, and I managed to sell it to pay off the debts and pass it on in 2001 in May. So that was, in a way, one of the best deals I ever made. But at the same time, it just passed on to things. Unfortunately, the next people took it over, didn't run it properly, and it ended. But I managed to pass it on. And then at the second hit, when I was hitting the Jupiter, I had a prostate operation. And at the same, just shortly thereafter, I was at an ATI Astrology conference, and I did a performance with the celestial harp, and did a performance about Sedna. And this was that was a highlight. For me, it was a big deal to get the harp together and do things and put this together. So, and it was my Heartless Lecture harp is something I built. It's my own thing. So this was a present. So they're just the turning points that happened to me. There are other changes, of course, going on. In the next hit is when it changes degree in 2021. It'll change this 1 degree. So it'll change from, it's in this 1 degree and 3 degrees. So it'll change into that degree in 2021. So that's basically, when you put it through history, it's just a couple of things, a couple of turning points that stand out. It's still valid. I just take my plan, right? I made my history, I put my things out, looked at it, and put it in there, and then leave it to reflect on it. So that's practical. But since the progressions are about your inner development more than they are, I mean, your inner development does affect everything in your outer chart. So a change in another planet, if it changes sign, it's going to affect the nature of the rulerships. It's going to affect the planets that are rulerships. It changes the texture of how your chart works from an inner level. So even though they're not direct or immediate, they're present and they evolve. Okay, so I'm going to go back to where we looked at back here, or over here, yeah, where we looked at these 2 hexagrams. The main theme was breakthrough resoluteness, and there was gentle penetration, perceptive changes. And this is hexagram after completion, line 4 and line 5. Okay, this has been the last year, and it's the beginning of the next year. So I'm gonna go into, to give you an idea of how these things work. I'm just gonna have to make this a bit smaller, I think. So I'm going to be using my book on I Ching. There's lots of books on I Ching. The difficulty with I Ching is it was written for divination, and they have in the realms of divination, there's a lot of value of putting shocking ideas and shocking images that you can relate to. These shocking images are not so well suited to the astrology because they tend to be interpreted too negatively, but there's a deeper meaning within each thing that has a positive meaning that's useful, and that's coming from some of the wisest philosophers over the last 5,000 years that have worked on this and evolved their teachings on it. So there's good messages inside of it. Even a difficult name doesn't imply that's the total name. It's a relating to association, a metaphor to something that you have to read into to see it deeper. So this example of this is after completion. I call it appropriateness. So that's named appropriate because it's one line after the other, solid, broken, solid, broken, solid, broken. They're all even. They're all odd, even, equally in odd and even places. So it's technical. So then, and the, so we can see it. This book is available on the website. So above, water above, fire below. The storm clouds above, lightning below. The danger can be seen. There is a right way and a wrong way. One can find the correct way to solve problems. Discrimination without and clarity within. This is the theme. So this is the theme of my Uranus in the storm clouds, trying to see the right and the wrong way, having used discrimination to do that. That's a lot to do with astrology and the way I think. The danger, the image, the danger is passing. It continues to snow. The way is becoming clear. Movement is appropriate. Ready to change things. It's nice to have Uranus in a symbol that's ready to change things, and it's getting the go-ahead. The judgment, one's behavior does not deviate, not a movement out of order, not a pause without composure. What appears simple is difficult to achieve. What appears difficult will be easily dealt with. One meets criticism with praise, and praise with criticism. This is some of the Gemini. And it's really an Aquarius theme, but this is the Aquarian sub-pentan, okay? It's working a theme within the theme. We have the national theme, the provincial theme, and the municipal. We're down on the municipal, or the hours, the minutes, the second. We're down on the intimate, I call it the main theme, the special focus, and the intimate detail. We're down on the intimate detail. And it seems incredible, but that astrology is still vivid and alive on this micromanaging, minute level. is quite incredible. We're not going to go so much into the family relationship. We're going to, the time of balance is the storm without and warmth within. The storm will not last. One prepares for when the sky will clear. One is considerate and works to improve the circumstances of others. So, okay, this idea of working to improve, like, it's a Saturn theme, it's Aquarian theme, but this is Uranus, and it's trying to break through and make this exciting, not boring. It's wanting to go and do this right away. Go move on it. Go on it. So some of this to me is having had my vision. Actually, my vision about astrology came from a thunderstorm. Sitting in meditation, I saw there's a big thunderstorm I saw in my mind, and it became real. And a lightning bolt came out of it and did hit me, and I felt that was my beginning of vision. I went out to nothing, and I came back in, and my mind kind of descended to this lightning bolt down to the world, past the planets down to the world, and then it became an astrological awareness, how I came back into the world. So I actually did have a vision that did parallel that, and it was the vision of how I got into astrology to begin with. Before that, I had no career. So then I came back, I had to learn it to begin to ever since then, I've been working as an astrologer, teaching astrology, learning astrology. It's been a big part of my life. So let's just see. It goes into, I'm sorry, I just want to look back here for a second. Yes, it's going, okay, so it's going to, but it's going from the, into the fourth house, and then the third. That's because some of the degrees go from as they're going through the zodiac, they go from the bottom line of 1 up to line 6, and so some when they're in the mutable signs or the last half of the fixed signs, they go from the 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But because this is going retrograde, it's going from the 4th line into the 5th line. So I just wanted to double check that. This is the I Ching stuff. We went into it a little bit. We spent a couple of sessions on it, but I'm hoping to put a course together where we can get into this a little bit more